Hello, all, and welcome to episode 23 of Rational Romantics. Our big goal today is to look back at the interview you guys heard a couple of weeks ago with Ollie Higginson because he gave us a ton of information that we have to reflect on, we have to theorize about. So we cannot wait to talk about that and just deep dive it completely to the point where we devoted an entire episode to it. We have a couple of Bridgerton news pieces to get into first. So, let's hit the ground running with this because this is a big episode.
It's a huge episode, and it's like, as I was like editing the last episode a few weeks ago, I was like, there is so much to literally break down. We do need a whole episode to talk about everything that Ollie gave us. So yeah, here we are. But of course, we do have some news to get to, and I feel like the day that we're recording this is the day that like my brain broke, and I just posted about that because like so much happened today with our beloved cast of Bridgerton, and yeah, let's just dive into it.
Well, I feel like first we have to start with the news we just got, like basically a few minutes ago, that Simone Ashley is going to be in The Devil Wears Prada 2. And if ever there was a movie designed for our high fashion runway girl, it's that movie.
It absolutely is this movie. Like, I love the idea of her like in F1. Sure, whatever. But our fashion girl, she deserved a movie like The Devil Wears Prada. And holy moly, as soon as I saw that, I was like, Cass, oh my god, I hope Cass. Obviously, you saw it, and I wasn't about to break the news to you. You probably already knew, but I was like, oh, this is so cool. And I was just so excited to come on here and just talk about it because, like, The Devil Wears Prada 2, just that in and of itself is, like, insanely exciting. But, like, add Simone Ashley to it, like, yes, please.
Oh, for sure. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, okay, what part do I want her to play? And like, obviously, it's not going to be a one-to-one, but I want her to play like the Emily Blunt role from the first one, of where she's like, I'm going to Paris, and like to be that. I think she'd be so good in that role or something kind of like it. So I can't wait to see. Oh, can't wait to see her shine.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I can definitely see her as the character with, like, the quick comebacks.
Mhm.
Quick, sassy, dry, like, yeah, exactly like Emily Blunt. Like, I would love to see her in that kind of role. So, gosh, she is just going to blow it out of the water. I know she's going to kill it. And uh, I don't know if I'm ready for that. Like, Devil Wears Prada was such a staple in, like, my teenage years. And even into, like, to this day, like, it's a comfort movie. I love it. Like, find somebody who doesn't like it. You know what I mean? So, like, I just love that Simona's going to be in it. And yeah, I know she's going to kill it.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, and I mean, the whole cast is all of ours, but like Simone's kind of my girl. And there's another human who's kind of your boy who had some big news today.
My
So would you
boy.
like to share what's going on for your man?
Yes, and like speaking of fashion, like crazy news this morning. Luke Newton is going to make his off-Broadway debut, and not only that, but it's a show that is designed and created to honor Alexander McQueen. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I first off, I was like, this is off Broadway, please. Put it on Broadway, center, Times Square, put it right where it belongs, But of course, it needs to, you know, if build not credibility, but it needs to build some hype and all of the fun things. But I love that he's at the like root of this show and that he's at the beginnings, and we know that he is incredible on stage. He is so talented, and I'm like, is this why he got the haircut? Is this the haircut vibe? Is he like channeling McQueen? Oh, I just think it's so, so cool. And I love this for Luke. I love it.
That's amazing. And yeah, it's really so good. I think it says so much about the Bridgerton cast that, like, when they're done, when they have their off time, they go do the stage. And it just shows, like, they love the craft of acting above all else. And I think that's why we get so much out of them. And, like, Luke does not get the credit that he deserves as an
Mm.
actor from Bridgerton. And so I very deeply hope for him that as he continues to do stuff, people recognize the talent that he is because he's very, very good. And so I can't wait to see him in this. I love Alexander McQueen. His Rain show is iconic. I did a
Mm.
presentation on his Rain show when I was in high school. Like, so good. Yes. Yeah.
Gosh. I love
It's gonna be
that.
amazing.
Yeah. McQueen is amazing. Like, iconic. And you're right. Luke Newton does not get enough flowers for what he does. And I've seen snippets of him on the stage. It was called The Shape of Things just
Yeah.
before I guess 2 summers ago. In any case, he is phenomenal. The way that he like feeds off of people on stage, but also the audience, like he is going to kill it. And I love that it's in New York City. Like it's in, not that, I mean, obviously in London he does get that visibility, but just bringing it overseas to New York, and there's so many like really exciting things about this. So yeah, it's just the beginning for him. So I really hope that he skyrockets because he deserves it.
For sure. Well, and another Bridgerton man that we have to talk about that decided, I won't bury the lead. We have another thing to talk about Ollie. The rest of the episode is going to be Ollie centered.
Yeah.
But he also decided to throw something in today that was not in our interview, that was not anything. He decided to share a video that was a side by side of him reacting to a fan video that was, the line in Queen Charlotte when Violet happens to mention that she almost asked a footman to lay on top of her. And Ollie decided to caption that with "What happens in Bridgerton House stays in Bridgerton House." Okay, fine.
Okay, sure. I guess we'll talk about it. My God, he's unhinged. That was unhinged. Insane.
Absolutely.
I was so confused. And obviously, because I was DMing you, I was like, what happened? Who did this? At first, I thought you were in the video with him, and I was so confused because of the comment that we had. And oh my gosh, I'm forgetting who made the comment in one of our videos, right? They were saying that they were convinced that it was Footman John. That's the footman that, Violet was speaking about in Queen Charlotte. So I was like, what? I was so confused. But, like, dude, it's not enough the information that you gave us in our episode a few weeks ago. Now you're bringing this up. Oh, gosh. He is so cheeky. Like, really cheeky, and I love it.
Cheeky is a perfect word. And it really feels like, which is so funny because I never made that connection. I never assumed it was Footman John that would have maybe like gotten Violet being like, "Ooh, hello, Footman." But like, of course it is. Like, of course it is.
Who else?
So I'm on board.
Who else would it have been it? Like, come on. I this guy. It's his jawline, I think. That's what,
I think it is.
Violet couldn't resist. And she was like, you know what? I need to walk away from you right now, sir. I love that. I love how he's
Yeah.
being sassy about it. Ah, but yeah, whatever. I'm so, like, overstimulated today that I'm like, sure, let's talk about Violet and Footman John. I ship it. So, yes, so much we are over
overstimulated with all of this information, and you know what? We have way more to dive into, which is nuts. So, Deb, you want to get started breaking down all that we learned from Ollie?
Yes, let's. Because I've been editing this episode, and it's been out in the world, and I'm sure people have listened to it probably more than once. I feel like I have sat with this information long enough. Let's talk about it in a civilized way. Because I think what's important here, that we first off insert a little clip of us and our raw reaction after we finished recording. Because that was very telling, and just be glad that we did not record the analysis of this episode after it was recorded, because this is what you would have gotten. Oh my god, dude, what the Am I understanding correctly that one of his songs is going to be in Bridgerton season 4?
That's what it sounds like to me, Deb.
That's what it sounds like.
Not only that.
And we...
Yes.
Oh my god.
This is completely unusable.
Stupid.
This recording is ridiculous.
So, here we are, a little bit more chill. So, let's now break it down, because, yeah, it was something. It was something.
Yeah, which I feel like I just have to mention that my first note for this is, we talked to Ollie Higginson, what the fuck? So that was my headspace when I started taking these notes.
And it continues to be that, I think. It continues to be that. I'm like, when we're editing reels, when we're editing, like, anything to do with this, I feel like we're both like, what the fuck? What the fuck? I can't believe that we had this conversation with him. So, I don't know, like, do we want to start off with, like, just talking about how we got there? Because he was really, really... Well, okay, so we did talk a little bit in the previous episode about, like, how it came to be. The reel that we shared about his music, fitting in Bridgerton and all of that. So, it's like, we had, like, this, like, small rapport with him, and we were like, okay, I think we just need to, like, rip the Band-Aid and ask him to come on the pod. And, like, in a split second, he's like, absolutely. Absolutely. And we're like, hey, thank you so much. And we kept rescheduling because he's a very busy man, and that's fine. So all good things comes to those who wait. So we're like, yes, we will wait. And finally, we got to sit down with him, and we knew that we wanted to, like, talk about two main things, his music and Bridgerton. So we dove in head first with the music.
I would say we were not prepared for how entwined those two things would end up being. So What was crazy, and I don't know if you felt this way when we interviewed, I felt like I did not want to be the first person to say the word Bridgerton, because I was like, like, obviously we want to talk about his music, but we also, I mean, Bridgerton's a huge deal, and it's not like it was a secret. He knew we wanted to talk about Bridgerton. But he's the one who dropped Bridgerton in the conversation. Yeah. And I was like, thank God. Like, I felt like we had just opened the can of worms, and suddenly we could talk about it. So that was a big relief.
Yeah, it was like the elephant in the room. We were like... But it's so funny, the first time because, like, sure, he talks about Bridgerton, but there's a moment where I was the first one, that wasn't him, who said Bridgerton, and I'm like, you can hear it in the way I said it, I'm like, we all know Bridgerton. And I was like, oh my god, I sound, like, so, like, ridiculous. But yes, I felt that too, all to say. But it also kind of felt like he wanted the conversation to go in that direction anyway. So him bringing that up I think that was his plan.
Because, as he mentioned, dropped oh so casually, that his first single is going to be coming out right around the same time as a certain Netflix show, which we at the Rational Romantics are obsessed with the release date for season 4. So that alone was a huge deal.
Yeah. And honestly, if he would have just said that and nothing else, and we just chit-chatted for the rest of the time as planned, that would have been huge. You know, I was walking away like extremely pleased if that was it. So yeah, him just kind of plugging that in, we were kind of like, oh, okay, that's cool. And it's funny because the question that we asked him was like, what's coming up next for your music? Like you're doing a debut record and all the things. And he caught himself being like, what was the question? What's the question again? Like it's almost like he decided like, this is where I'm going to insert. And then he kind of like forgot, wait, what did they even ask me? But like it felt intentional. And that was just the beginning.
He reiterated a couple of times some big things about the release date. So, one, he said that his singles were coming early next year, around the same time as Bridgerton. And so that confirming the early was a big deal because, you know, we've seen evidence for that. And then he put a clock on it. Later on, he added another comment in where he said 8 months, that we're going to be getting that single in about 8 months. Which, ladies and gentlemen, if you have your calendars out, 8 months from when we did that interview is February.
Yep. And he purposefully went the day that we're recording, so June 2025. Like, he did quick math in his head. Like, he did some quick math, which is wild. It's just wild because that is what we had been hoping for. And like, there's been so many hints that that's what's going to happen. Early 2026, you know, we found out about the book tie-in. That's January 13th. And it just made sense, even from the beginning, that was the Benefi Valentine's Day was the last one we would get. It was like, that was the Valentine's Day event. So February 2026, it makes a lot of sense. And Ollie's saying, like, that his singles will come out around that time. It just, yeah, it's just another piece of the puzzle, but it's a very telling piece from a very good source.
Honestly, he's an exceptionally good source for many reasons. Because I feel like there's more going on. Like, he seems like he might be more to Bridgerton this year than just an actor. Because, I'm sorry, okay, I have several pieces to freak out. So I'm going to freak out about two things together and then we'll take it in chunks. First off, is Ollie's music going to be in Bridgerton? And second, did we make that happen?
It's stupid. It's literally stupid. Because yes, it does really sound that way. It really sounds like his song will be in Bridgerton because he talks about how the post that we made insinuating, planting seeds and saying like, oh, this song would be great in season 4 started a conversation. And I hear that in my sleep now. It started a conversation of like, us? Us? We started a conversation? Come on.
Yeah. My heart is racing right now, just as like I can feel it like it's sitting right here, like thumping in my throat. Like, I can't, okay, so I was re-listening today, because of course I was, and I was really picking out, I was like, all the times where he was like, you guys have so much influence, like, you don't even know, like, you know, you guys started these conversations, he was like, over and over again, like, well, I can't say anything more, but, like, be paying attention, Bridgerton has been so supportive of my music, like, all this stuff, like, he didn't just say it once and we're reading into it, I don't feel like, at least. This feels like a big clue. Yeah.
Well, and that's what he said at the very end. He said there's going to be, like, things are really heating up. There's going to be some cross-pollination between Bridgerton and my music. Like, that that's huge. That is more than once that you've said this, and you're ending the interview, the formal interview, with that. Um, and like plugging in his Modern Ollie account, and if you're not following it, go follow, because like he's on a mission. It just seemed like what they saw from Ollie's stories, because he tagged Bridgerton in his shares. It seems like they were super pumped about it. And yeah. But like also I might be skipping ahead, but the fact that there's a documentary crew.
That was your find, babe. So you run with that because that was your theory and I love it. So tell me, when we heard documentary crew, where did your brain go?
Well, my brain went immediately to like the making of the original song for like the season. It just felt like like the videographer Ryan Wheeler, who like was BTS for like season 3 of Bridgerton. I can just picture a crew like that just going in behind the scenes on how he's recording his music, how he's recording the song, like asking him like, the inspiration, how it ties into the story and all these things. And um it brings me back to like Queen Charlotte, a Bridgerton story, when it was like Alicia Keys who was like the behind the scenes of like the orchestra and like all these covers. Like there's always like this musical kind of documentary piece as part of the promotion of Queen Charlotte, and then season 3 with like Tori Kelly. So it just feels like I don't know why else like somebody who doesn't even have like their debut record would like hire a documentary crew. Do you know what I mean? Not that he's not worthy of it on his own. That's absolutely not it, but I just feel like if you've got a really important story to tell and this is a big moment, it makes sense that, you know, Shonda and Netflix would want to document it.
No, I'm totally with you. And I
Okay.
like that is
Okay.
so amazing and we need that. We need that in our lives. That documentation. And I'm one of the things I'm really interested about is because he specifically called out the songs that we mentioned. So like Crying for Love and Don't Let Me Love You were the two songs that we really highlighted. And he said that he said that those are going to be the two songs that are coming out earliest next year. So I'm thinking that one of those songs, or maybe both of those songs, are going to be in Bridgerton. Like that's what it feels like to me. And I have to fangirl over my own, like, whatever, but, like, when he mentioned that, like, the editing of the song together with the clips from season 4, and he was like, oh, that it lined up so well, and I was like, thank you, I did it on the Instagram app without even any other software. I was like, thank you so much.
I did it natively in the platform. Thank you so much. You're so cute. What did yeah, I fangirled for you too when he's like, you guys are clearly very good at editing. I was like, yeah, she is. She is good. She's fantastic. Oh, it's so funny. It's so sweet. Yeah, like he was just so thrilled to see that all come to life, and like fuck, it's just crazy that like he's talking about stuff that like we did. Like it's insane.
I feel like just such a big thing for content creators to know that like what we are creating has impacts on the people that we are creating it about, right? Like I mean, and not even just to know that we're like affecting or whatever, but just to know that we're putting positive things out there, and like that true honest care and love about these shows makes a difference. And like I don't want to call anybody out or anything, but like I read an article about the Buccaneers today, and I was reading it and I was like, did this person even watch the show? Like it felt so obvious to me that it was like, oh, they read an episode summary and then wrote something because their editor asked them to. And I'm like, I get that, like it's your job and it's a whole other thing, but I'm like, we're coming at it from a place of true like love. And so it's really wonderful to know that the people that we love, the people that are creating something that generates creativity in us, are seeing that, and they're seeing that love, and that they're appreciating it, because that's all we really want to do is like show our appreciation for this piece of art that we love so much. And so it's just so rewarding to know that that's actually happening. So that's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. It's really comforting, and it gives like butterflies. Like you're just like, there's something about like when somebody likes something that you do or like shares it. It goes such a long way, and like I feel like we know the moments when somebody did that for us. So like you just got to pay that forward when you get to that, like when you get maybe further than you were before, like do it for others, you just got to build that community and share the good. And like Ollie has been doing that a lot with everybody who supports him. He seems to be supporting in return and giving visibility to as many people as he can, which is really what it's all about. So and he speaks to that too when he talks about like, the how nerve-wracking it could be to like put music out and, just put yourself out there that way. And he's like taking note really of like who is there and who's excited about it from the beginning. And it's a really cool place to be. And yeah, not a lot of people can say that they were there from the beginning. So he appreciates it, and we appreciate him for acknowledging that. So it's a really, really nice thing that we've got going on there. And everybody who follows him.
Okay, so there was another question that we have to talk about because it was meant to be a joke. And it turns out the answer was very much not, which was so funny because, so Deb, you asked the question and I loved hearing your reaction to what you thought his reaction was. So will you share with us what was going through your head when you asked this question?
Yes, I would love to. So the question was meant to be, so, okay, earlier in the conversation, he's like, I can't say much. So I kind of like blended two questions together. One of the questions was, can you tell us anything about season 4? And then a later question that I had was just a joke about, Footman John and that being his government name. Like, are we ever going to know? So I just put them together so that, like, if he can't say anything about season 4, at least he can, like, just run with the joke of, like, Footman John's last name. So I gave him an out. But then it took him several business days to answer. I was there like, oh my God, did I offend him? Was this offensive? Is he mad? A million things were running through my mind because the silence was so deafening. I was like, and he was just thinking. All he was doing was he was sitting with it and he was like, what do I tell these girls about Footman John's last name? We're like, fuck, it was a joke. And then he just drops a huge story about Footman John's last name, which I think is a huge Easter egg.
I mean, I feel like it has to be, right? Like, I mean, he's talking about, he's dancing around it like crazy, so clearly it has plot significance. He's saying, like, and then he decides that he can definitively tell us, because at first he's kind of dancing around like, oh, maybe he obviously has a last name, whatever, and then finally he's like, no. He's like, the writers have a last name for John, whether or not it ends up in the show, obviously, because editing happens and things and whatever. So there is a storyline for John with his last name. There is significance to his last name. And there went my head exploding. Because I was like, what does that mean? How? Like, what? And I remember telling you, I was like, whose child is he? Like, whose child? That's the only reason that a last name would be significant. So whose child is he, Deb?
Don't know. I hope it's not Violet Bridgerton.
Okay, but you know what's crazy though is that I literally made the joke, like, when we got the picture of him sitting around the table, I was like, he sits like a Bridgerton because none of them sit in their chairs correctly. Like, he flops like the Bridgertons do. And I was like, he sits like a Bridgerton. I was like, is he a secret Bridgerton? And then I was like, no, that's never gonna happen. This reminds me of when I joked that Cressida was Sophie, and then there were a bunch of clues that felt like Cressida was Sophie. And it's like, I know this is not real, but am I gonna have to go on the Footman John as a Bridgerton train? So I feel like I had a thought today on whose child he might be. What if he's Reynolds' son?
No!
Because I was sitting here and I was like, literally who could it be? Because I also thought of that too, and I was like, if he's a bastard, then what would his he wouldn't carry the last name. So the last name wouldn't be as significant. But if they're gonna reveal to us that his name is John Reynolds, that would be a big fucking deal.
Oh my god, Cass, that's stupid.
I would lose my shit.
What if you're right? Look at my face right now. I look like I'm a train wreck right now. What if you?
Yeah.
What if you're right?
And I feel like,
That's crazy.
obviously not to bring it all the way back to, again, the possible sequel or prequel, second season, whatever thing, but I'm like, we are not done with Reynolds and Brimsley. We cannot be. And so, I mean, what a way to bring maybe Reynolds back into this world.
See the heartbreak of Brimsley having to not be with Reynolds anymore because he needs to marry, and oh no. The ages would line up, the timing would line up. The like huge mic drop with the name would line up. Cass, if you've just done another Michaela, I'm gonna like
It's like, guys,
I don't
it's
even know.
110 where I'm at right now, and I'm like, I have my air conditioning on full blast, but I'm dying.
Suddenly very hot. Whew, okay, that's crazy.
Well, and it's so crazy because I sat with this since we had the interview. I was like, I have been racking my brain because I tend to really not like the Secret Love Child storyline. Like, I don't like the theory that Alice is Lady Danbury's child. I don't like those theories. Like, I don't like Secret Love Children. And so it's like, I need it to be somebody who makes sense and is like still a mic drop, but wouldn't be like a shock. Like, the idea that Reynolds has a son would not be like out of the realm of possibilities. And so I'm like, this feels right. And I literally, it's been like 2 weeks of me thinking about it until I finally had this today. And I was like, there it is. That's what I feel good about. Well, and then he also, which we didn't really get to dig into very much, but he dropped another little tidbit with that he talked about that he has lots of new costumes this season. And so, I mean, you especially, the Downton Abbey fan, I mean, that got some wheels spinning for us for sure.
Take him to the village, take him to the bar. Let's go, Footman John. Get in your civilian clothes. Let's go.
Take off yawn.
Yeah, get out of here, yawn. We are not being demure tonight. Oh my gosh. I would love that.
Well, and that's like, it also fits with, somebody asked if we were going to see Footman John back in Bloomsbury. And he was like, yeah, he's there all the time. Like, he's going to the pubs, he's gossiping with his mates, he's delivering letters. So we're clearly going to see Footman John running around doing some off-duty things, apparently.
Oh my god, I still can't with that. 100%, Footman John is Eloise's wingman, wing person, for delivering letters. Like, oh my gosh, 100%. He's just gonna get out and about, and yeah, having different costumes I think will be nice. Not the stuffy servant costumes. I think that's pretty telling that he's gonna have some adventures.
That was supposed to be very easy on our man Ollie turned into slightly difficult and extremely sexual. So that's fine. We asked him about emojis that he would attribute to this season.
Why am I the one who asks all the stupid ass questions?
That was the question you wanted to ask, which I love, and we got a ton of good out of that. But like, you did it to yourself, babe.
It's true.
But they got us such good content, so you're killing it. You feeling like which you're not making a fool of yourself, but you feeling like you're putting yourself out there and making a fool out of yourself gives us this amazing content. So keep doing it.
Great. I'm glad. Because yes, the emoji question was really fun because he was kind of like, so he started off answering like the things that come to mind that not necessarily he would pick. But they were very specific. I'm like, I don't know who else is actually picking these emojis though, but that's okay. He picked the side eye emojis, the little smirky side eye, which he said was very Bridgerton, and and you'll need to go on YouTube if you want to see him reenacting the emoji. It's very, very specific. We loved it. Which yeah, cheeky emoji. We love it. But the other one, it literally took my breath away.
I will say though,
whoa.
that him saying the word aubergine, is gonna haunt my dreams, but also so much classier than eggplant. We say eggplant where I'm from, and it's a horrible word. It's a gross word, and it's a gross meaning. Aubergine is like a kind of classy but like sexual meaning, and it like feels all like swanky as opposed to a fucking eggplant where I'm like, eggplant is what I get sent on Hinge when he's an asshole.
Yeah, the way he said it, like aubergine, and it was like, he's like, he was all like cutesy about it. I was like, yeah, okay, but also like you can see I'm very quiet about it, but I'm like, oh. I literally was like, whoa, oh, okay.
And then he decides to parrot, swearing that he does it innocently, as pure as possible. But then he decides to parrot with, like, a wet emoji. Like, he's like, oh, a lake or water. And it's like, this is a very wet season, is what he tells us. I see you, Footman John, laying on top of Violet Bridgerton.
I see you. Oh my God. I bet it's wet all season long. Crazy. Madness. At this point in the interview, things are just all the cards are on the table. Anything can happen. But yeah, when he starts talking about like the sweat dripping and like the lake and I was like, okay, that's fine. But then he drops one more. And also, again, I react and I'm like, don't do this to me. Because he talks about the staircase.
And then not only just says, oh, the staircase, he says, he's like, oh, this is so fun. Because like, he's very much enjoying that he knows something we don't, which I'm like, that must be fun for you. Mm-hmm. But he says that the staircase is going to be every third word we say after the season comes out. And then you said... I'm just recounting the interview, guys. We could probably just insert a clip here. Anyway, then you said, though, you're like, oh, it's the new carriage scene. And he's like, yeah. Like, what?
There's so many moments where I'm like out of my body and I'm like, what are you saying? Do you realize who you're talking to? When I said, oh, it's like the new carriage. I was like, yeah. But he said yes. Yo, shit goes down in the staircase. Oh, and how he's like, it's very hot in the staircase. I was like, are you part of this? Did you do something in the staircase?
I mean, well, now we have lots of contenders. Because, like, love triangle with Sophie, like, Hazel or Celia. Now we have Violet in here. Eloise is a contender. Like... Benedict is a contender. Like, he could be hooking up with Ben, too. Like, there are options.
Footman John, you are gonna get around. And it's about time. It's about time. He's been working his ass off. He deserves this. I think what was also really sweet of him is that he was like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not giving you guys much. But then I'm really glad that I said this because I wanted him to know that it wasn't about getting information from him. This whole interview, we didn't want to put him in an uncomfortable position, ask him about things that were above him or like that we knew full well that he couldn't answer. Like, we didn't want to make him uncomfortable and make it like sleazy journalism in any way. So I wanted him to know, like, this is not what it was about. We just were so grateful to chat. and to talk about his music and all these things. And so honestly, it was a great, great conversation.
And with all of this discussion, we have a last little treat for you where we saved just a little bit from our interview with Ollie, where he discusses his show that's upcoming on October 30th. So you guys, you can go buy tickets, so go do that. But he also shares a little bit of Bridgerton information along with that.
Do you come to the UK very often, you guys?
I have quite a lot. I've been to London maybe 5 times. The last time I came for the Bridgerton premiere, season 3.
Oh my God.
So I had like a whirlwind, like 24 hours in London, which was really good. I mean, it was
Whoa.
crazy. Yeah. So I love coming to London for sure.
Wow.
I've
Wow.
never
What about
been.
you, Cass?
I'm trying to go this upcoming year, but I've never been to the UK, which is so crazy. I can't even believe it. And I love to travel, but it's just never worked out to be there. So I'm trying to go this upcoming year.
Well, I was going to say, if you're in London on the 30th of October, I will get you tickets for your show, for my show, not for your show. If you had...
It's like, what show? I didn't
Uh,
know. I'm
you're
already.
playing show. No, you're playing with me. No,
Great.
but if you happen to find yourselves here, it'd be lovely to see you and stuff. So, you know, it's a long way. It's a long way. But if you happen to find yourself in London, it'd be really fun. We can do a little sort of backstagey thing, and do something fun. I don't know.
That would be so cool.
And there is going to be like a Bridgerton surprise at that gig as well.
Ollie, come on. We're so stressed.
But,
Books flight immediately.
well, let's keep in touch. 30th of October, maybe I'll see you there. If not,
Sounds good.
another time we shall chat again.
So, yeah, we've been sitting on this little piece of news for a little bit. Very exciting to know that by October 30th, we're going to be so far along in the Bridgerton cycle, I think. And he's got a little something up his sleeve for that show. So if I was in London, I would definitely be buying a ticket to this show. So yeah, it seems like it's going to be an exciting night.
Absolutely. And I mean, the impulse to hop on a plane is strong.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's very strong.
well, and guys, if you are, I mean, a Bridgerton fan, a music fan, an anything fan, make sure that you're following at modern_Ollie. That's his music account. You can follow him at Ollie Higginson as well. That's his personal. But he's got a newsletter to sign up for. Obviously, go buy those tickets for that show if you're in the area. And go support our footman John in his journey as a musician, because he's so good. If you haven't heard yet, go listen. I mean, we love him as footman John, but you're gonna love him as modern Ollie as well.